Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Fantasy Friday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Four Horsemen Studios, Mythic Legions, Necronominous Waves, Conabus. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, we've got lots of nice leafy things on this side, and then a dragon over here, and clouds and storms, four horsemen right there, and a piece of tape. Nice bit of window here to let some light in from the top, which carries around to the front. Nice big window here showcasing the figure and accessories. And, you know, the artwork continues on down to both sides matching up. Mythic Legions. On the bottom, small, fine legalese print. It's made in China print. Symbols I'm not going to learn probably. A barcode. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. And then there's all the websites that you can visit. And the Four Horsemen's Mythic Legions logo, or the logo of Four Horsemen they use with Mythic Legions. So here on this side, Four Horsemen, the artwork again is continuing around, and you can see City of the Crowned Eagle back here, I guess, and Sir Gideon Heaven's brand's horse, who I don't recall the name of right this minute. And it's showing the Necronominous logo there because, you know, this guy is Necronominous's horse, and there's some nice artwork of him. It says Conabus right there, and if you want to read his bio, you can pause it right here and do it, or I think it's on Mythic Legion's website as well. Alright, so finally moving around to the back, we have that nice artwork, the full artwork of all four of the evil deities or horsemen. And then we've got some pictures of some other horses right here. And then we've got some story stuff going on here, or whatever you want to call it. But if you want to pause it right here and read all that, you're more than welcome to do that. And then there's some more stuff you can pause and read if you want to. It's, you know, the credits of what's going on here with the packaging and inside the packaging. So, but yeah, I like that artwork. The evil has finally joined together, I guess. Poxus, Necronominous, Alethea, and Aether. Well, that, my friends, does it for a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And as far as the accessories go, I don't think we'll need the handy dandy tweezers, but we've got these nice looking shields. We've got this gold or bronze around the edge and in the center, and then we have this more gunmetal color here on this, and then the silver on the inside, and then like a black, or maybe it's this gunmetal ring around here. And then we've got these nice silver rivets on it, and then on the other side, it's not a shield that can be actually handled. I guess these parts do pull off, and you could plug a handle into that if you wanted to use these shields for something besides the horse. But he comes with these clips, and they clip on back here somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. It's the first time I've run into this particular type of accessory to be mounted on a horse. You know, I've covered these shields before, just not with the clip on them, this clip. So he comes with 2 of those shields, 1 for each side, and they're pretty much the same, except one has a silver band here and one has a gold. Oh, well, they are actually kind of mirrored images of each other now that I notice it. The silver and the golds are kind of mirrored, I guess, or swapped, except for along the edge it's got the gold or bronze rivets in it. This stripe is that color, and then the silver in the center, and then so they are different. I thought they were exactly the same, and they're not. Goes to show what I know. Stupid digital caveman. So let's take a look at the horse. And while this horse looks fantastic, and I probably should save this till the end because I've messed around with it a little bit, but it does look fantastic. You know, maybe a little bit of wash in here would have been a nice touch, and maybe a little bit more wash on the horse itself. Now the bridles and stuff kind of have a bit of a wash on them, but I mean, look at that. The Necronominous bridle, I guess you could call it, and it's all bony looking except for this like silver piece behind it, and then, you know, you've got color punched in on these rivet parts, and that's throughout the figure. You've got this armored bit that has a heavy wash on it, it looks like, with these gold or bronze rivets. That looks like one's missing right there, don't it? But, well, there's one missing here on this side, and then one missing here on this side, but not in the same spot. So I'm guessing, I don't know, either mine is messed up or that was an intentional. I'm gonna pretend it was an intentional thing. So we've got these nice paint apps all along here, like the buckles and rivets, and I mean, just tons and tons of deco. Like, we're, you know, for these more expensive Legions figures, you know, we're used to that. And then, of course, you know, this piece is nothing new. This piece is nothing new. The tail, I think, might be new. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But the rest of the horse is all new. I've never seen this before. You got, you know, it's bone, and there's bits of meat and muscle left on it in strategic places, mostly just to kind of cover stuff up. And then that skull, especially with these pieces on the bridle, gives it a really malevolent feel to it. Oh, there's some gold right there. And then like a heavy, not as heavy as a wash as this, but this does have a wash on it too. It's heavy in some places. And so you can see right here, the saddle has these 2 ports in it, and this piece has these 2 posts in it, and it's supposed to go in there. The saddle being, you know, a regular saddle, and this being a horse with no flesh on it, you know, it's a bit loose, so it does tend to slide around a bit. And it's probably going to do that a lot when I go to looking at the articulation. Now, something else I will say about this guy, there were parts of it I did have to heat up, and then there's parts of it that were really, really loose. So that's just something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at the articulation real quick. Of course, the tail articulates, it rotates full 360 degrees, and it does have a hinge in it. You do have to watch out. It moves this. It tends to pop out when you articulate it. So there is that. At the back hips, it's on a ball hinge there, so you get some slight in and out movement with this that you don't get in the front. So as far as movement at that joint though, this piece gets in the way. So, you know, extreme range of motion, like that horse could kick you in the head. Oops, and that fell off. Okay, so it's out of the way now. So we can see some more of that flesh bits up under there. So really creepy, which is what it's supposed to do. He kind of kicks forward that high. There's a joint right here. There's a little bit of twist to it, not a whole lot, but you can see how the joint comes back this way. So he gets that much back at that joint, and then forward he gets that much. And this applies to the other leg, other rear leg as well. So then we get down to here. It's another joint here, so it does rotate 360 degrees, and this is one of those places where I say he's kind of loose, and he gets that much bend back at that joint, and there we go. It's still a little, the joint, like the hinge is still a little stiff. It's just where it pins in that it's loose. So forward that far. And then we do have another joint down here, like the ankle, I guess you could call it. And it will give you that much bend back and that much bend forward. So there's that. Now at the front legs, there's no ball joint in here, so there's no slight in and out like there is at the rear. So that hinge, the leg will move back that far. And again, like the saddles and stuff do get in the way when you're trying to articulate it. It goes forward that far. There is a little bit of twist right there, but not very much. Again, this right here is kind of loose. And at this joint, that hinge gives you that much bend back, so approximately 90 degrees. The kneecap does get in the way a bit here in the front, but it also bends a little bit, so you have to be careful with that. So pretty much without bending the kneecap, you get straight leg toward the front. And then at the ankle joint, it tilts back that far, and it tilts forward that far. So, you know, not horribly bad or anything like that. And then I think there's a little bit of twist here at the hooves too. Yeah. And look at that. I didn't even look at that part. Wow. That's cool. And I think there's a little bit of twist here. Yeah, there's twist here. And it'll twist around 360 degrees there. Yeah, everything's just all cattywampus here. So where this big bit of meat left on the guy here is, and there's some more you can see now that the saddle's twisted over, and there's nothing in here inside the rib cage. So that's cool. So there's a joint here, and it will go down that far. It goes up that far. It does have a little bit of range to it, side to side. And dang it, I feel like I need to quit covering these horses. And then there's another joint up here at the head. And let's move the camera up a little bit. So it'll go up that far. It'll go down that far. So, wow. That's cool. No articulation in the jaw, which is a bit of a disappointment, especially on this guy. I would love for him to like open his mouth up and you could stick some fire effects in there or something. That would be friggin' awesome. And so this piece stays on pretty well. And then I guess I forgot to mention there's a metal loop right here that holds the reins onto the bridle. And I will fix all this stuff in a minute. Put his stuff all together. And this is the piece where the shields go. And you can see mine was in the package. It's a little bent up. But a little bit of heat should take care of all of that. So I think the shields attach like right on here. I don't know. I'll get it figured out in a minute. But no need for you guys to have to sit through that. So I'll pause it for a minute and we'll get everything fixed up. And I'll move all this stuff out of the way while I fix it up. Okay, so here we go. And I had him all fixed up and then this piece fell off, which I'm just hooking into this strap. Maybe. You may have to remove the shield from the clip. Get it on there. And then port the shield back onto the clip. And there, I guess it kind of sits like that. At least that's the best way I can figure for it to fit. But there you have it, my friends. There is a look at the figure and his accessories, or its accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Conabus with his Dark Master. The Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Necronominus. Here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Conabus with the Toy Biz, the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, Shadowfax from the Shadowfax and Gandalf the White 2-pack. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Conabus, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Conabus, at least I'm assuming I'm saying that right. Conabus. I'm going to say Conabus. But for the final thoughts on it, it's... my feelings on this figure are a little mixed. the sculpting and the deco on it are, you know, right up there with the rest of what the Four Horsemen do in their own lines. And that's to say it's excellent. And some of the joints are a little loose, and sometimes that's to be expected. So, you know, I'm not holding that against it as much. But where my issue comes in, I suppose, is the fact that none of the livery for this horse, other than maybe the neck armor and the bridle, fit it really well. And maybe that's just me. I need to adjust it. Now the neck piece sits okay. I don't mind it so much. But the saddle moves around way too much because the strap is super loose around the middle, and there's no way I know of to adjust that. Now you know, somebody out there may know a way that I don't, but. And then, you know, the straps and stuff that go on the rear of the horse, you know, they connect into the back of the saddle. They don't like to stay that way because all of that stuff there, it just slides around and is a bit messy. So I really would have liked for them to retool the straps and stuff a little bit. At least the strap under the saddle, retooled it to actually fit the horse better. And I know, you know, with this being mostly new except for the livery parts, and even some of those are new, but the shields are reused, the saddle's reused, the hind quarter straps are reused. The neck armor I'm not entirely sure about. And the tail, I'm not 100% sure about. It could be from Phologius, Poxus's horse, but I don't have it right here in front of me, so I couldn't tell you. And I haven't done the comparisons on it yet. I do film out of order, so there is that. So, I don't know. Again, it's a mixed bag. It moves okay. Some of the parts are, again, they're loose, but that could just be mine. I don't know if it's across the line. The sculpting is fantastic. The paint apps are good. This thing looks ghoulish, like a skeletal horse should. He's not completely a skeleton. You know, there's some bits of meat left on it that haven't completely fallen off yet. And I think those are located in strategic areas to kind of cover some stuff up or to fix some issues, because, you know, at the hip joints in the front or the back, hip, shoulder, whatever, I'm not sure what the actual equestrian term for that might be, but, you know, I mean, that covers up some issues there. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And like I say, overall, this thing looks great. I guess where my mixed feelings come in is just the saddle. I wish that, you know, that stuff fit better. And because it tends to come off. And, you know, just some slight retooling might have helped. I'm not 100% sure, especially where that the strap and armor pieces plug into the back of the saddle. A little bit of retool might not have helped. A retool in the saddle, you know, the strap might not have helped there. I don't know, but I don't know. It just feels like, you know, with most of this thing being new sculpt, maybe they just didn't have the tooling costs to do that. I don't know. I'm not, you know, I'm sure Four Horsemen don't run their stuff like Hasbro does, where there's a fixed amount of tooling and stuff that can go into one particular figure. And I'm not 100% sure that's how Hasbro does it too. It just seems like there is, like, you get a wave, you get this much tooling and stuff per wave, and you know, you make the best of that. And so I don't know that Four Horsemen do it that way. I mean, you know, you do have to control costs, you do have to reuse where you can. That's just the nature of the action figure business, because it is a business, and although they're making these things to, you know, express their artistry, I guess is how you would phrase that, they're also doing it to make money. And the bottom line, that's what a business is there to do, to make money. Should it be the end-all be-all of the business? No. And, you know, I like the fact that independent toy makers like Boss Fight and, you know, the smaller guys, including Four Horsemen, you know, they don't have that quote-unquote fiduciary responsibility to make profit for their shareholders, but they do have a responsibility to themselves to make some profit and, you know, keep things going. Because what's the point of being in business if you're not making some profit? And so I guess I've waxed philosophical about that long enough. My final takedown on this is, I think this is a good take on a skeleton horse. Again, yes, he does have some meat left on him in some strategic locations to cover certain things up, but that's, to me, that's understandable. And if you like Necronominus or any of his followers, I guess you call them, any of the skeleton guys, I mean, he would be a good mount for any of them. But, you know, this is Necronominus's horse, and if you're knowledgeable, well, semi-knowledgeable of the line like I am, I'm only, you know, very small knowledge base on this line, but, you know, the four main baddies of this line are basically the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and you can't have the Four Horsemen without their four horses. That's my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary. And it's not that Necronominus figure needs this horse, because that is one of the most fantastic figures that I have the pleasure of owning. But me personally, I just feel like, you know, he's one of the Four Horsemen. He's one of the big baddies. He needs a horse. So I got his horse. And again, you know, it's not the greatest. I like the Mythic Legions horses. I think they have a nice sculpt to them. I think the accessories work well with them for the most part. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I feel like they could have put a little bit more into this guy to just really make him an incredible figure instead of just a great or a good figure. You know, it is what it is, I suppose. But, you know, I do like it. I'm glad that I did pick it up. It's just the parts of it, or the saddle part, is frustrating. And I don't even know if I got the shields on it in the right positions. I guess I'll have to go in and look at some photos and stuff and see if maybe I got it right, or close to right, or completely wrong. I don't know. But I will find out. So, Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.